discuss the histology of thyroid gland. Okay, so thyroid gland, it consists of two lobes, right and left lobes. This is gross structure. First we are discussing the gross structure, then we will go to the microscopic. Okay, thyroid gland consists of right and left lobes, and that are joined to each other by the isthmus of the thyroid gland, and it weighs about 20 to 30 gram. Okay, it lies in front of the neck, below the cricoid cartilage, around almost upper part of the tracheal cartilages. Okay, overlapping the upper tracheal cartilages. So, and follicles of the thyroid gland. Thyroid gland consists of mainly thyroid follicles, okay, which are of different shape and sizes and lined by cuboidal epithelium. And these follicles of the thyroid gland develop from thyroglossal duct arising from the endoderm of the pharynx, and whereas the parafollicular cells develop from the ultimobranchial body. Okay. So these parafollicular cells are lying in the interfollicular spaces, connective tissue spaces, and can also lie along the margin of the follicles. Okay. They help in secretion of calcitonin, and thyroid gland secretes T3 and T4. See, this is the gross structure of the thyroid gland. These are the two lobes, right and left lobe of the thyroid gland, and this middle part here, it is two lobes are connected by this part. This is known as isthmus. Okay, and from the isthmus sometimes one small lobe is extended upward, and this is pyramidal lobe. This is not always present. Okay, and these rounded structures, dotted structures shown, these are the parathyroid glands. These are 4 in number. 2 superior parathyroid and 2 inferior parathyroid glands. Parathyroid glands are lying along the posterior margin of the thyroid gland. Okay. So histologically it consists of all these structures. First there will be one capsule. Capsule is formed by condensation of stroma. There are two types of capsule, true capsule, false capsule. True capsule formed by condensation of the stroma, and false capsule is formed by the pretracheal layer of deep cervical fossa. Okay. Next there is septa. From the capsule, from the true capsule, there are invaginations. Okay, forming the septa, dividing the gland into different lobules, thyroid lobules. And the lobules consist of the follicles. Follicles are rounded or oval in shape. They are of different sizes. Okay, and within the follicle lies the thyroglobulin, which is a colloid material and stains pink with hematoxylin eosin staining. And the type of cells lining the follicles, they vary according to the activity of the cells. When cells are inactive, these cells, follicular cells, will be squamous to cuboidal. Okay. When they are highly active, they will be columnar, and moderately active, they will be cuboidal in shape. Okay. Generally, we see represent thyroid gland during moderate activity state. So we draw the follicular cells as cuboidal. Okay. So and this colloid material is known as thyroglobulin, which is lying within the follicle. Okay, where the T3 and T4 are stored, and when there is need in our body, this thyroglobulin material is endocytosed by the follicular cells, and the hormones are released into the bloodstream directly. Okay, that's it. The need of this gland is secretion of this T3 and T4. So, to release these hormones into the blood, this gland is highly vascular. So, in the section of gland, you will see multiple sections of blood vessels. They are lying in between the follicles and also within the septa. Okay. So, in HE staining, follicular cell shows slightly basophilic cytoplasm and single spherical nuclei with 1 to 2 nucleoli, and there are interfollicular spaces. Here lies the parafollicular C cells and some connective tissue. So parafollicular cells, also known as C cells, may be embedded within a follicle, lie near the periphery of the follicle, or in between the follicles, interfollicular space. And parafollicular cells are polyhedral cells with oval eccentric nuclei, and these cells are not exposed to the follicular lumen. C cells lie single or in small clusters, and these cells are difficult to identify under the light microscopy. An electron microscopy shows parafollicular cells show numerous secretory vesicles. Okay. Function, what are the function of this gland? Follicular cells secrete thyroxine, T4 and T3, triiodothyronine, and parafollicular or C cells secrete the calcitonin. Okay, this is thyroxine is tetraiodothyronine, 4 iodine molecules are there, and T3 is triiodothyronine, 3 iodine molecules are there. Okay, T3 is more active than the T4, but amount of T4 secreted is higher and it is converted into T3 by some enzymes. See here, this is section, histological section of thyroid gland. Like this you will see, these are the septa dividing the thyroid gland into different lobules. So these are the lobules, and lobule consists of different follicles. Follicles you can see, their various shape and sizes of follicles are present. And within the septa you can see these are the sections of the blood vessels, and see the follicles are lined by cuboidal cells. Cuboidal cell you identify by the nuclei, large rounded nuclei you will see. These are classic example of cuboidal epithelium, okay, thyroid follicle. And this pink material within the follicle, this is known as thyroglobulin. Okay, understood? Here the T3, T4s are stored, and from here it is released into the blood via these follicular cells. And this is high power view. You can see the columnar cells with rounded nuclei. Sections of some blood vessels are present, and in the interfollicular space, these are the parafollicular C cells, helps in secretion of calcitonin hormone, which is responsible for calcium metabolism. Okay, calcium reabsorption, it helps in calcium reabsorption. Here is another cluster of parafollicular cells. And this view, you can see these cells. These cells are the parafollicular cells. These are sections of blood vessels. Here some also parafollicular cells are present. Here parafollicular cells are present. Like this you will see under microscope. This is low power view. Like this you will see. Okay. And this is high power view. So these are the follicles of different sizes and filled with colloid material, and these are the connective tissue septa formed by loose areolar connective tissue, and there are sections of blood vessels. All these are sections of blood vessels you can see within the septa. Okay, and follicles are lined by cuboidal epithelium. Here you can see the clear rounded nuclei of the cuboidal epithelium, and these white areas are the septa dividing the thyroid gland into different lobules. Okay, understood? And this is one ultrastructure of follicular cell of the thyroid gland. These are the colloid towards the lumen of the follicle. It is filled by colloid, and microvilli are present, which helps in absorption of the colloid or secretion of the colloid. Okay. When inactive state, cells secrete colloid, and in active state they consume the colloid and release the hormones into the blood. Okay. And these are the secretory vesicles, Golgi apparatus, nucleus, lysosome, rough endoplasmic material, and this is basal lamina. So this is one ultrastructure of the follicular cells of the thyroid gland. So near the apical region you will see the secretory vesicles. And basal basophilia is due to this rough endoplasmic reticulum. Okay. So follicular cells and activity of the thyroid gland, and these changes of shape of the cell according to the activity, this can come as your question in theory. Okay. And how it changes can be asked in your viva, and that thyroid, we have viscera of thyroid gland also. During head neck, we will see the viscera of thyroid gland. Okay. So follicular cells secrete thyroid gland, thyroid hormones T3 and T4, and the shape of follicular cells depend on the activity of the cells. During it has these cells resting or inactive cells. These are squamous type. Okay, secretory or active cells cuboidal to columnar, and scalloping of colloid you will see in active state of the gland. Okay, see here, this is inactive follicle. It lining epithelium is squamous to low cuboidal and follicles entirely filled with colloid. Here, moderately active cuboidal cells, lining epithelium is cuboidal cells and scalloping margins of colloid. And you can see there is decrease in colloid in this moderate active state than the inactive state. And this is highly active state, colloid is scanty and cells are columnar in shape. Okay, and this appearance is known as the scalloping margin of the colloid. Okay, so these are the different thyroid follicle appearance in various stages of activity: inactive, moderate active, highly active. You practice a schematic diagram for this. Okay, this is important for your theory. This is the process of synthesis of thyroid hormone. So first, the synthesis of thyroglobulin occurs in the follicular cells. Secretion or exocytosis of thyroglobulin in the follicular lumen, and here thyroid peroxidase helps in iodination of thyroglobulin and formation of monoiodothyronine MIT and diiodothyronine DIT. Then oxidative coupling occurs. Monoiodothyronine and diiodothyronine join to form the triiodothyronine T3, and 2-diiodothyronine join to form the tetraiodothyronine T4. And then reabsorption of colloid by endocytosis occurs. Then lysosomal proteases helps in release of T3 and T4 in the circulation in the ratio of 20:1. See, the ratio is very high. Okay, amount of T4 released in blood is very high than the T3, but T3 is the active state. Okay, and then there will be circulation of T3, T4 with thyroid binding protein. And when there is no need of these hormones will be destroyed. After using, they will be destroyed and iodine is released again into the blood, and they will be again taken up by the follicular cells when the blood circulates through the thyroid gland. Circulating iodine, then iodine uptake by follicular cells. Thyroid peroxidase helps in oxidation of iodine and release of iodine in the colloid. Okay. So this is synthesis of thyroid hormone. Now these are the clinical aspects of the thyroid gland. Goiter. Goiter is enlargement of the thyroid gland and occurs generally due to deficiency of the iodine or deficiency of the thyroid hormones due to some reason. Next is hyperthyroidism or thyrotoxicosis. Okay, there is increased release of thyroid gland. If there is higher stimulation from the thyroxine releasing hormone from the pituitary gland, then there will be excessive release of thyroid gland and it will lead to thyrotoxicosis. Okay. Next is hypothyroidism. This is less secretion of the thyroid hormone, and if it occurs in child, the brain development of child will be hampered. Okay, and it will lead to cretinism, and growth and metabolism of the child is also disturbed. So this will lead to cretinism. Cretinism, they are dwarfs and the mental development is not proper in this child. And myxedema occurs in adult. Okay, hypothyroidism, there will be water retention in body, truncal obesity like this. That will lead to myxedema. Okay, very important. Okay, they are developing from the pharyngeal pouches. Superior parathyroid gland, that is developing from 4th pharyngeal pouch, and inferior parathyroid gland is developing from 3rd pharyngeal pouch. So superior parathyroid is called parathyroid 4, Inferior is called parathyroid 3. Okay, this occurs during the pulling down of the parathyroid 3 more downward, and that's why parathyroid 3 location is more downward than the parathyroid 4. Okay, according to the development pouches, these are named parathyroid 3 and 4. Okay, you read in your embryology. Pharyngeal pouches will be discussed in your theory lecture class. In the development of parathyroid is important, and also comes explain why superior parathyroid is called parathyroid 3 4, and why inferior parathyroid is called parathyroid 3, like this. Okay, according to the development. Okay, so we are discussing the parathyroid along with the thyroid. So parathyroid glands, they consist of two pairs, superior and inferior parathyroid, and they lie along the posterior border of thyroid gland within the false capsule. Superior parathyroid is also known as parathyroid 4, develops from fourth pharyngeal pouch, endodermal pouches, whereas inferior parathyroid or parathyroid 3 develops from third pouch. Okay, that's why the name is given parathyroid 4 and 3. And each parathyroid gland is oval or lentiform in shape, about the size of split pea, and weighs about 50 milligram. And each parathyroid gland is surrounded by a thin layer of connective tissue capsule, and the septa extend from the capsule and divide the gland into poorly defined lobules. The glandular parenchyma is richly supplied with numerous sinusoids, and cells of parathyroid gland include two types of cells, chief cells and oxyphil cells. Chief cells are the principal cells. They secrete the parathyroid hormone more in number than the oxyphil cells, and in light microscopy, chief cells are small polygonal cells about 7 to 10 micron in size with centrally located nucleus, and pale staining eosinophilic cytoplasm is present. Electron microscopy shows chief cells shows abundant rough endoplasmic reticulum, Golgi apparatus, and secretory vesicle. Next, another type of cells is oxyphil or eosinophil cells. They are less in number but much larger in size than the chief cells. They appear single or in group, and light microscopy shows abundant deeply eosinophilic or acidophilic cytoplasm due to large number of the mitochondria, and they do not show any secretory vesicles and do not have secretory function. Okay, so oxyphil cells, they are less in number but larger in size than the chief cells. They appear single or in group. Light microscopy shows abundant deeply eosinophilic or acidophilic cytoplasm due to large number of mitochondria present in these cells, and they do not show any secretory vesicle and do not have any secretory function. So chief cells are main cells of the parathyroid gland, helps in secretion of parathormone. See, this is the histology of parathyroid gland. So these violet colored cells, these are the chief cells. Okay, secretes the parathormone, and you can see chief cells are more numerous than the acidophilic, these oxyphil cells. The pink one are the oxyphil cells. Okay, so chief cells secrete parathormone, small dark polygonal cells, and oxyphil cells are large eosinophilic cells, appears after puberty, and number increases with age, contains numerous mitochondria and do not produce any parathormone. Okay, and we'll see some sections of blood vessels. This is also endocrine gland, so highly vascular, and these are some adipose tissues can also be seen. And this is the capsule containing some blood vessels, adipose tissue, connective tissue, like this. Okay, okay, like this you will see under the microscope. These are the oxyphil cells, pink staining, and these are some adipose tissue areas. The white areas are adipose tissues, and these deep staining areas are the chief cells. Okay, this deep staining area in the middle, that part is the chief cells, and some connective tissue septa can also be. Two glands we have discussed, thyroid gland and parathyroid gland. Thyroid gland secretes thyroxine T4 and triiodothyronine T3, and source of these hormones are the okay, so this light area, this pinkish area are oxyphil cells, and this part is the chip cells, and some adipocytes you can also see, and sections of blood vessels are also present within the septa and also in between the cells. So thyroid gland secretes T4 and T3 secreted by follicular cells. Thyroid gland regulates the metabolism and growth of the body and also facilitates development of nervous system in fetus and young child. That's why cretinism occurs if thyroid hormone deficiency is there in young child. Okay, mental retardation and proper growth is not present in those childs. Next, calcitonin secreted by parafollicular C cells, and they decreases the blood calcium level. Okay. Next, we go to parathyroid gland. They secrete the parathyroid hormone secreted by the chief cells or principal cells, and that increases the blood calcium level. Okay, so together this calcitonin and parathormone, they control the balance in body calcium level. Okay, one decreases calcium level, calcitonin, and parathormone increases calcium level. Okay, understood? So this chart you very carefully remember. Okay, secreted by which cells, which hormone, and their functions. So you write down these 2 points in your histocopy and draw a schematic diagram, this diagram, okay, in your copy. So this is section of how to identify thyroid gland, sections of follicles of various sizes filled with colloid and lined by cuboidal cells. Parafollicular cells are present, okay. These are the parafollicular cells. These are the follicles lined by cuboidal epithelium, and within the follicles these are thyroid colloid, okay, and lined by the cuboidal epithelium, and these are the septa. Septas are here you can see sections of arteries and veins, and this part is showing the parathyroid gland. The pink ones are the oxyphil cells, and rest are the chip cells. Chip cells are more in number than the oxyphil cells, and oxyphil cells increases in number with age. Okay. So highly vascular tissue, plenty of capillaries are seen. See, these are the sections of capillaries in between the follicles, and here within the septa also you can see sections of capillaries, arterioles and venules like this, and these are the parafollicular cells. And you also notice parafollicular cells are lying in the interfollicular space and also along the margin of the follicle. Okay, so on that part, here one parafollicular cell is present, here another, here also, here you can see the parafollicular cells, and here also they are lying in clusters. Okay, so these two locations, they can lie in both of these locations. Okay, so you write down those points and this diagram you draw in your histocopy. Okay, so clear? So you have to see the follicles, lining epithelium is cuboidal, have to note down the rounded nuclei and thyroid colloid. Okay, understood? And some septa, sections of blood vessels can be seen. And parathyroid tissue, if present, then you will see only the parathyroid tissue. Okay. Okay, so that's all. Any queries from this topic? Thyroid gland importance, spotter slide. Okay, thyroid colloid and follicles is the main identifying part. Okay, parafollicular cells can be visible in high power view. Low power you will not be able to identify. Okay, so any queries regarding today's topic? No queries. Okay, now you go to the histo lab and coming. Go and see the slides. Okay, you can silence everyone. Okay, you can see follicles, thyroid follicles of different size, and the colloid material is present within the follicles. Pink material you can see, and you can see some scallop that it looks like the moderately active glands. Okay, so you will see lining epithelium are cuboidal type. Okay, and on the upper right side you can see some septa, and within the septa you can see some sections of blood vessels. Okay, and in between the follicles also you can see some sections of blood vessels. Okay, see those follicles. Follicles are important identification feature. Next slide কোথায় আছে এখানে